back and better than ever. You gotta love it. You gotta love it, Keith. You put the hard work in. It's good stuff, man. It is great to be back with you. Again, my name's Matt Trahan. We've got Keith Mangan, the Big Bedford Buck. This is the MSSADA podcast, and we are excited to be back with you. Got to give a big shout out, huge shout out to Gold Athletics, our premium fundraising sponsor. They do amazing things. If you're not using them, what are you waiting for? Gold Athletics is the only way to fundraise. I'm still waiting for my beef jerky. I heard that you had your bag in mind too. We could talk about that a little bit.
I don't know if it was my bag and yours. It was certainly my bag, but it was great to see.
It's Matt not Ross. Your bag, baby. Yeah, it's not your bag, baby.
That's it. That was great to see Matt Ross and his folks down at the national conference down in Austin, Texas, and that was, I believe, it was his first time attending that.
Yeah.
So I went and found him, and then I said, hey, I'm still waiting for that bag of beef jerky from the conference from last year. And they said, you know what? We're expecting to see you. And then I got to tell you, it was spot on. And I'm a fan of beef jerky anyway. We head to the Topsfield Fair in the fall with the family, and we're walking around, and my father-in-law and I always get to this one spot. The guy makes it all and just bags it up right there. And it's amazing. And it did not disappoint, I will say.
The flavors that they have, Keith, are, and again, I'm just wrapping up a fundraiser with them. We did extremely well selling customized mugs, but I've had a couple of their samplings for the jerky, and the cracked pepper was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
You said you had some teriyaki.
Yeah.
I mean, not for nothing, but, and I know we give the spiel at the beginning, but they do it all.
Yes.
And they do it in a way so that, when you have multiple teams fundraising at the same time, you're not inundating people with the same stuff over and over and over again. They've got great offerings, and they pair it now with an app that you can send out to folks. You usually send out 20 emails or 20 texts, and before you know it, you've hit your goal.
Yeah. No, it's great, and they do a great job. We're using them more and more all the time, and they do not disappoint.
No.
And for us, with our teams, when we're looking to do fundraising thing, it's not just, hey, we want money, or
right.
It's a worthwhile product that I think is a must have. And that variety, which is so important, that it's not just cookie dough all the time. You know what I mean? There's only so much cookie dough you can deal with. But with them, with the popcorn, with the beef jerky, with so many, as you said, the mugs, they do the gold cards. It's the town that I live in, our football team does the gold cards every year, and we have a couple friends who come right over, and we'll buy those every year and use those great savings around town and stuff like that. So you can't go wrong.
No, it's fantastic. A big shout out to Gold Athletics. Looking forward to seeing them. The one thing that my big ask is, if they're making cookies again, I want the double. I want the double. I don't want that little one. I want the big one. So double.
I get you. That's fair. Yeah. My thing would just be, more jerky.
Yeah, I got you.
You can't go with what works.
Keith, talk to me, because again, I miss you. We'd be talking about the national. I figured I would represent, even though I wasn't there. And when I say I wasn't there, it was painful for me, because, as you know, for those of you that have gone and been to the national, there's so much there. It's athletic directors, athletic administrators on the grand stage. And you come back with so much. I unfortunately was under the weather and didn't get out of bed for a good 3 days. Traveling was not an option for me.
Yeah.
So, disappointing that I couldn't join you, but fill me in. Tell me what I missed.
Yeah. So obviously disappointing that you weren't there. We usually have a great experience. A lot of
Christmas card.
A lot of learning time. It didn't seem right to do it without you. Tarpy and I talked about it, and it didn't seem that it would be the right thing to do. But we down in Austin, Texas, great city. A lot of great folks. I think we had something like 24, 27 or so folks from Massachusetts head down there. My first time to Austin, Texas. So we had a great time. Had some great barbecue. Couple spots that Tarpy and Chris Afuli and I and some other folks went to. That was great. Food wise, we had heard about a place and it ended up being like right around the corner from the hotel, but had no idea. and this was probably the go-to place. I sent it out. My son was in Texas last year in Austin for a DECA conference,
Nice.
Leadership conference. And I said, hey, did you go to this place? And he said, Dad, you have to go there. So we went to Gus's Fried Chicken, which we went the first night a little bit late. They actually opened up an area for us because we had a big group of folks. Kelly and Terry were there with us.
Nice.
El Presidente,
Quattromoni
and Tarpey. Like we went and had a great feed. And then we actually went back again the next night. It was so good. We're like, let's go back again. And rumor has it that third night, I was actually already on the plane on the way home, and I got a text from, I'm not going to throw a name out there, but I did get a picture of a third night in a row at Gus's Fried Chicken. So
Gus has got it.
Maybe we can do some sort of sponsorship for if someone wants to throw a gander in there. I know we have a live comments and stuff like that here with the podcast, and we can have a special surprise. Maybe we can reach out to the folks from Gold Athletics and maybe a bag of jerky or something like that for if we get the successful guess of who
sent the photo,
who it was.
I'm
not going to ask to send the photo because I don't know how many people got the photo. So I don't want to put that out publicly, but we do have that chat option, I think, live on this as well. So if people throw that out there, we might be able to.
There's a comment button. You can do it. If you're on your computer, you can absolutely do it. Keith, Augustus, I mean, you're making me hungry. I haven't had breakfast yet.
Listen,
but I will tell you, I mean, we know a good thing when we see it. And again, last year, I think we went to that Japanese steakhouse 2 nights in a row, and that was lights
which
out.
Was outstanding.
You know, it's great. Oh, it was beyond outstanding, and we had quite a crew. But I think, you know, I mean, more so than just the food, which again, I think we're all there for, you know, a libation and some good eating. But you know, talk to me about, you know, the vendors and all of the things that you saw. I mean, I always feel like I come back with more nuggets. I mean, you know, a couple of years ago, I picked up Final Forms, one of the best things I ever did. You know, we've got, we're utilizing, you know, some graphics from different platforms now. You always come back with a little bit more than you're left with. What did you come back with?
So, great. Start off right where you threw out there was Final Forms. Got to see Jim Wright as well, and Julie and Quinn and all the folks from Final Forms who were great. I also sat in on the state membership committee.
Nice.
So we went through and did that. We're actually doing we're in a test group right now with Final Forms of being able to pay directly through the website now instead of having the old way of renewing membership of going through and you know, filling out a form like similar to like a Google form that would then go to Nellie at the NIAAA, and then she then send us an invoice once she went through all that, and then we took that invoice and I cut a check and then I send that back to Indianapolis, and now it's a new process which is going to go live for everyone at the beginning of the year. But I just did the first renewal on it. It took a whole step out, and it's amazing, and it's you know, makes our lives easier, which is great. And soon LTC will be able to do on that, you know, for all the LTC courses and things like that. That instead of sending that out and adding all those extra steps, it's just going to make our lives a whole lot easier. So kudos to the folks at Final Forms there.
And that's what I like too, Keith. When you go there, I mean, I know what my objective is. When I go there, obviously, you want to learn something new. You want to take a class. You want to, you know, get involved in the national level if you can. However, one of the big things is can you come back with something that's going to make your life better, easier, and how's it going to your student athletes, right? So you hit the nail on the head. Final Forms has changed the game for me, changed the game for the athletic trainer. They've been fantastic. You know, but you know, to kind of switch gears a little bit, today's a busy day for MSSADA. You know, here we are, and we got about 30 people watching live, you know, as we speak. But you know, in about 20 minutes, mentor chair Tom Holgate, he's doing a workshop with some new ADs, and I know that you've been heavily involved with that over the years. So why don't we talk a little bit about that, and then we can move into some of the other stuff that we've got on the docket.
Absolutely. So what I'll tell you that one of the sessions that I did go to, I'm going to chat a little bit today at that next session here at 10:30. we went to a session on coaching evaluations, and a couple folks presented, and which is great. It's ADs teaching ADs, and something I took out of that, we started doing a coach's evaluation a couple years ago. So in that coach's evaluation, I send out, it's basically just a Google form that I sent out to all of our student athletes towards the end of the season, and ask them just to take a few minutes. There's maybe 7 or 8 or so yes or no questions, and then there are 2 open-ended responses that you go through and, ask for a little bit more of a qualitative feedback in, if you will. But something I took from that session was they're using AI or ChatGPT or one of the other different AI models out there, and basically taking all that, really the comments, and then putting that into the AI and generating a narrative. So when I sit down with the coaches, I have this 1-page kind of like a synopsis or summary of kind of what the kids felt like their experience was, and where they'd like to see the program go in the future.
I love that.
Or things they wish they had and stuff like that. So it was really kind of amazing when I was sitting down and doing those evaluations with my coaches, and having that conversation of, instead of saying, hey, this is what this kid said, this is what this kid said, which that's not the purpose of it, but it's more for a growth tool for our coaches and how we can help them get better.
I love that you said that. And I love that you shared it. I asked you for that last year, and resounding success. I mean, and again, it's not you evaluating it. It's coming from the individuals who directly work with, with the coach. And, there's always positive and negatives, but I do like the fact that, you're looking at constant growth and improvement. But the AI piece, that's taken it to a whole new level. I'm really intrigued by that.
Yeah, no, it was actually pretty cool. And I went through, and it kind of, I don't know if justified is the right word, but legitimized, I think, some of the feedback that I heard or that I've seen, or in my observations when I've gone set in practices and games and stuff like that, good or bad. So it was rather than sitting there and going through each one, and it's like, hey, you can always sit through and say, hit as far as the feedback part goes that we got from the kids. This is what it is, and to be able to share that, I think, is a potentially a powerful tool.
100%. Now, we talk about it, and one of the reasons why we talk about, some of the things that we mention here on the podcast is, there's a large turnover in everywhere in Mass and across the country. I think you probably picked that up when you went to the National, that, a lot of ADs are either moving on to higher education. They're taking assistant principals positions. I know that in Massachusetts there's a focus of, growing courageous leaders. But that being said, though, I mean, we've got somebody like Tom Holgate, our mentor chair, who is mentoring the younger, the newer ADs, and kind of filling them in on a lot of the things that we do in Massachusetts. And I know that, in about 15 minutes, he's going to go live with them and talk a lot about our conference down in Hyannis. So I know that you've been involved for a long time. I know that, the new ADs workshop you've been involved in. Talk a little bit about the value, Keith, of what MSSADA is providing the newer ADs.
Yeah. So, the best part of what I consider to be one of the best parts of our organization and that conference, and things like the mentoring workshop and stuff that we do. And although Tom has changed it a little bit and utilized the technology, no one really used Zoom before COVID hit, right? Now the ability to have these regular sessions, which we weren't doing when Jim Davis, as a past president, this was his project of starting a mentoring committee, 16, 17 years ago, using that technology to make lives easier, right? So of ADs teaching ADs, being open to learn regardless if you're a seasoned veteran or a fairly new one. And I remember sitting, when we first started this program, we run it down the Cape during the Section 1 retreat. Then that kind of changed to doing it at the MIA, which you've been at a couple times, which we're still doing that opening one there for a day session, but looking at ways to evolve that. And now doing these monthly sessions, where it's only about a half an hour or so that It's usually Tom and Pete Serino. I've been on a few times and stuff as well. That Jim Quattromoni went on as a tournament director, just to kind of just different things to give people heads up about and make sure that they're on their radar. And it's not just new ADs who are doing it. There are seasoned veterans that are jumping on and either putting in the background or actively participating. And as much as you think you got everything, it's great to have that reminder and that review and to keep things current. Today we'll talk a little bit about the conference. I know the captain's workshop that Jim Quattromoni puts on in Hingham, which he shared with a bunch of us the other day. The person that works on that with him is going to be, I think, presenting a little bit on that. So it should be a worthwhile one, and that's coming in, as you said, at 10:30.
Well, on that topic, I got to tell you, just not privately, but obviously everybody was listening. I'll tell you, we talk about leaving with nuggets. I left with Champions 101 last year. I was inspired by Travis Doherty.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you something. It is a lights out program. It's been great for my coaches, my kids, and parents. It's similar to what we're talking about. You leave with something, and now you've made your situation that much better, right? So I know folks that are going to be on later. I'm going to try to jump on myself. You're going to get all the nuggets and all of the things that you need to see while you're down in Hyannis. But Keith, this is a big one. This is a big one. We got the big 5-0. The big 5-0. I'm thankful that I'm not the big 5-0. I'm getting closer, but
neither am I.
Neither
am I.
This is going to be a monumental occasion, and are you? Wow, you look good. You look good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, wow. But that being said, though, it's going to be crazy because we're going over the top, right? We're going over the top. I think you're going to see things that you haven't seen before. There's going to be events down there, and then there's going to be what you can expect. It's all of our LTC. But before we get to that, Keith, you mentioned something about utilizing Zoom and how Tom's doing it. And I know that it's been talked about, and I don't know what direction we're going to go, but I know that you and I have both taken 790, and there's quite a few others. It would be wonderful if we could cultivate that into some sort of online platform where we can offer LTI courses, whether it's seasonally or whatnot. I think that could be a good add-on to what we're currently doing.
Yeah. So great point. So right now as the association, we offer 501 and 502 actually in reverse order. 502 usually happens first which happened in November, and 501 I believe is coming up. Utilizing Zoom, I think, is just that much better. Depending upon how you take your LTC classes, I think you've taken a few more than I've had, but different avenues, whether it be at the national, at our state conference, at the MIAA. I took some during COVID when I was working on my CMA to finish that process, and did the workshop model once, where it's like 2 hours one day, and then you come back 2 weeks later. The fall webinars through the NIAAA, which are all great. I think that'd be a cool thing to try, and maybe we can do a little test here, in
the spring
to try and do a different thing to work, with our LTC chair, Kara Ellis. And I know we've talked about this a little bit about maybe trying to do one of those classes where it's, as we know, there's so much going on during the day for us, or in the afternoon, to be able to get out and commit to that. It might be a cool option, and then maybe take something like that to the mentoring program to add. There are some states that do a full weekend or 2-day mentoring workshop in the summer where we're a 1 day. Maybe something like that would be a cool thing to help evolve.
The options are endless.
Yeah,
options are endless. And then the other piece of it too is I think we're utilizing technology, social media, and all of the other things probably more than we ever have in the past. So there you go. There's the tie into the 50, because 50 years ago, I think pencil and paper was the standard, and now we're utilizing this program, that program, and everything else that we can get our hands on. So. The big 5-0, I know you're in the know, I'm in the know, but let's talk to the viewers and let them know that, hey, you're in for a treat, because I think, we've listened to the comments that have come out in the evaluations after the conference, but, this being the Big 5-0, I think it's a special event. I think it's great that we're going to have the opportunity to honor past presidents, people that have been involved over the years. This organization was built on strong athletic administrators who are very passionate about the profession and the student athletes that they work with. And absolutely. I think that, the people that we have on the MSSADA board they've definitely carried that torch, and eventually we'll be passing that torch to, others as well. So Keith, talk about some of these events and some of the wonderful things we have planned.
Yeah, so this year's a little different. So to start off, right before we start our state conference, we also have our Section 1 conference that Massachusetts is hosting this year. So that actually will come in Sunday this year, which is a little different than we've done it in years past. We have that Section 1 meeting on Monday morning. And then this year, the conference is starting where we're starting that day earlier this year. So in the past, we come down on Monday. Now some of us are coming on Sunday, getting ready. We'll finish Monday morning, prepping all the stuff that we need for the conference. Hopefully we'll be able to do some when possible ahead of time, so we're not running around, as you know, off to Staples or to BJ's or whatever to grab some different stuff. And then looking at, our hope was, I know this meeting was going to be the kickoff to throw out the registration process. That's coming, folks, within, I would say, the next couple days. Everything's been sent off. Mike Denise sent it off to Tanya. Rich has passed it along to final forms, and we're just waiting for them to finish building that registration portal. But that'll be coming out soon, and we're going to really encourage people, and we'll put stuff out. Get registered early, book your room quickly. We already have vendors who are asking, so we usually keep about a 2-week or so window between once registration opens. Before we give that information along to the vendors, just so we can make sure our ADs are able to register and get a room at the hotel. There is already set up to have some layover lodging. Some people have done different things. The old Cape Codder in Hyannis is now was bought out and renamed as Margaritaville. So that's, I believe, is going to be the carryover, or if anyone didn't get at the Resort and Conference Center, or not the Resort and Conference Center anymore.
The Emerald. The Emerald, yes.
So it's going to be great. We have some speakers coming in. We have a bunch of LTC courses coming in. And the different variety from some of the ones we've offered in the past. We will offer the legal ones like we normally do. I think 503, 504, 506, I think 508 are all being offered, I believe. And then we'll go through and do our sessions and some awards. As you said, we're going to acknowledge past presidents come in. There's going to be we have in the top corner of the screen here is our logo, which we changed a little bit for the 50th anniversary, and do some different activities. What would be great is if you didn't get the opportunity last year, we have quite a budding, I wouldn't say budding, maybe that's not the appropriate way to say it, but a secret skill in musical skill by one of the athletic directors. Which
listen, you can't steal my thunder because I was going to throw it out. I had a conversation with him yesterday. Okay, Kevin K. Rowe told me. Let me
stop right here and then send that over to you.
Listen, in room 426, if you like good music, you want to sing along, karaoke, whatever it is, 426. Kevin K. Rowe has told me of the 35 songs he knows, he's learned 5 more. So we're going to be playing the hits in 426. Everybody's welcome. I'm trying to work with him and get him down in the lobby, and everybody throw dollar bills at him. But at this point, I don't know. He likes a small crowd. I think it's going to turn into a big crowd. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many, I don't want to say secret events, but there's a lot of things that we don't want to let out just yet, right? Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on. I know that they're doing more renovations. I know that we've got some things on tap. It's not going to feel the same. It's going to look different, feel different, and it's going to be a great event. We're super excited for it.
Yeah, it'll be great. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it. That being said, I know that Keith, you're heavily involved and got to jump on another screen in about 5 minutes. But we will be back again, and we will be plugging this conference. And I want to thank the folks that joined us live today. We've got quite a large number of of individuals here who are joining us live. Can't thank you enough for joining. Can't thank Gold Athletics enough for being an unbelievable partner to the MSSADA, not only through their fundraising, but they just do so much for us as an association. Can't thank them enough. Look forward to getting together with you. It's always a pleasure, Keith, and I'm sure that we'll see you again soon.